Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brandy, and today we're going to be doing a part 2 on the San Diego Black First Time Homebuyer program or grant. I know that it's been like over a month since I gave the last update, but a lot has been going on behind the scenes, both in my work and my personal life, that it has prevented me from giving an update, but there is lots to talk about. So let's just jump into it. This will actually be the final part of the update for this particular program, so stay tuned for more that's coming up next. But let's hop into it. Like I said, so I believe we left off with taking the first time home buyer class that you need to take. I of course took the online version. It was not free, it was $15, but it was like vastly less expensive than the other online options. It also wasn't free, which is also an option as well, but it's usually in person. And at the time that I took the class, it wasn't really, things weren't as open as they are like now today that I'm filming this. So at the time we weren't comfortable going in person, and also the last in-person meeting or class that they had like passed or was coming up like the next day, so we didn't have enough time to plan ahead. So all that to say, I believe that's where we left off with the first time homebuyer class. Okay, so after you take the class, the next thing you're going to want to do or be needing to do is you're going to want to get hooked up with a lender, and that's a lender that is approved by the program, or like, I can't remember if like the lender has to approve the program or the program has to approve the lender, but either way there's like a list of like approved lenders. You want to get hooked up with one of those. You'll get like a representative, and they're going to ask you for a lot of information. They're going to ask you for your pay stubs, for like your last 2 pay stubs. They're going to ask you in some cases they ask you for your W-2. Sometimes they ask you for your tax returns for like the last 2 years. They also ask for like your bank statements, any retirement statements you have. So whether you have like an IRA or a Roth or traditional, if you have like an employment-based retirement plan, they're going to ask for a statement of that. And yeah, so they're going to take all of your financial documents basically, and it'll be really great if you like have that already or just start getting that prepared right after you take that class or soon after you take that class, because they're going to ask for that to determine how much that they can lend you, and how much they can afford to lend you based on like your finances and whatnot. So you're going to want to get that information over to them as soon as you can, because after a certain time period, like, they need to get updated documents. So let's say that they ask for your documents, you give them a little bit here, a little bit there, and you drag it on for weeks, because they need to see your like employment status, your income status. Your pay stubs kind of like expire after a certain amount of time, so you want to try to get everything in as quickly as possible and close together as possible, so that way once they give you like a pre-approval, once they have all your information, they can get you a pre-approval, and the pre-approval lasts for 3 months or 90 days. So yeah, that'll be the first thing you want to do. Get hooked up with an approved lender, and then get your documents together so you can just send it all at once. And if it's more than one person living in the home that are adults, working adults, then each person will have to submit their information. One tip that you'll learn in the course, the first time homebuyer course, is you only want to send the information that your lender asked you for. If you send too much information, then sometimes that may hurt you, because they may be seeing more than they need to see, but once they see it, they can't unsee it. So if they only ask you for your pay stubs and your bank statements, but they don't ask you for your tax returns, don't send your tax returns, okay? Because there might be something on your tax returns that doesn't show up on your bank statements and your pay stub, that could hurt you essentially in terms of your buying power, how much money they're willing to lend you. So that's a really important step. So we did that, and then the next step, your lender is going to be submitting your information to an underwriter. That's someone who works at the bank. You're not going to have direct contact with them. They're just going to run the numbers and see how much they can, the bank or whoever the lender is will lend you. And then once they have that number, once they have the numbers crunched and then all your information, they're going to talk to the program that is giving the $40,000 for the grant. So the San Diego Black Home Buyer Program. They're going to talk together, and they're basically going to determine whether or not you qualify for the program, right? So like I said in the first video, it's basically an income based qualification. So if you know your income is under a certain level, then you qualify for the program, and then you're able to get the grant, the $40,000 for down payment and our closing cost. Now for us, this is where we had kind of a hitch moment, because unfortunately for us, at the time point that we submitted our documentation, we were on track, meaning this year, by the end of this year, we were going to make more than what the program allowed for us. The grant program allowed for a participant to make. So we would come just above the cutoff mark. And I say it's unfortunate because if they looking at our last year statements, you know, we were under that mark, but it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, we both we're able to get promotions in our respective career fields, so we're happy about that, of course, but unfortunately that, you know, affected our ability to be able to participate in this program, which would have been a huge deal for us in terms of having a down payment for purchasing a place. So unfortunately we weren't able to qualify for this particular program, but before you get all upset, we did reach back out to our counselor. Remember in the last video I talked about having a one-on-one with basically a financial counselor at the San Diego Urban League. So we reached back out to the person that we spoke to. I believe I gave her information, her name at least, in the last video. Her name is Jacqueline. She's wonderful. If you have the opportunity to work with her, she's great. If you've already worked with her, I'm sure you know how great she is. So we reached back out to her and we were like, hey, unfortunately this situation is not going to work out for us. This program's not going to work out for us. Do you have any other, do you know of any other programs for first-time home buyers that may work for us? And we're so thankful for her, because she actually did. She has been in this field for a while, so she knew a few other programs that would help first-time home buyers. She set us up with a different lender who was who she had worked with in the past on these different programs, and so we're looking in that direction now. There is one in particular that we're kind of got our eye on now that we have like a different lender. So when we switched to the different lender, we had to send all of our information all over again. So that's another thing that you have to take into consideration. You know, you just have to be on top of it with your documents. You have to be on top of it, answering emails and phone calls and things like that. So that's something to take into consideration. But if you'd like to hear more about this new program that we are applying for and interested in using to help us purchase a home in San Diego, stay tuned for my next video where I'll talk a little more about that. Alright guys, that is going to be the end of my video today. It's a short one, but I just wanted to give you a heads up, or not a heads up, but like an update on what was going on. Both my birthday and my boyfriend's birthday passed, so now that we're past that point of like celebration and planning things, we are getting back on track of you know, getting to different levels of our life. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.